Party.tv.
Welcome back to the Australian Beach Ultimate Championships here in Coolangatta on the Gold Coast. My name is Oakley Ryan and I am joined by Max Sandstorm here. We are bringing to you one of the placing games here for the day, the last game before we start finals. Max, tell us about the two teams that we're going to see today.
Well, this is the matchup for 7th, the battle for 7th place glory, and it's between Sandstorm and Beer Kitty. As we're reaching the end of the tournament for most teams, this will be their final game, and you can tell they're a little bit tired, a little bit heavy-legged as they're slowly getting themselves to the field and getting themselves ready for their final game of the tournament. Both teams have shown moments of brilliance this weekend, but not quite been able to mix it with the absolute top end in terms of the teams here. So that's why they're playing off the 7th.
That's exactly right, Max. We saw both teams have been streamed live earlier today. Both teams going down in losses, which is evident as they are now playing off for 7th place. I think we'll have a good game ahead of us now, a bit more evenly matched, and hopefully see some really great plays from both teams.
It's an opportunity for redemption for Sandstorm, who in their earlier streamed match went down 13-1 to House Party. Obviously not a result that they were particularly happy about, and to be perfectly honest, not one that reflects the experience, skill or quality of this team. So this is an opportunity for them to play their game a little bit.
Beer Kitty matched up against Pie Wagon earlier this morning. Also went down not as horribly as Sandstorm did, but Pie Wagon still won quite convincingly. So they'll be looking to get some early chalk on the board, assert dominance over this experienced Sandstorm team. Maybe use a little bit of the youth that they've got, and try and take this one out and take out 7th place.
Sandstorm don't have a whole lot of youth to work with on the other side of things. They're a team predominantly made up of Masters players, many of whom played Masters at the Beach Road Championships last year. So obviously very skilled players with plenty of experience, know how to get it done when it needs to get done. Deep into a tournament, we'll see whether they've still got the legs to match it with this younger, possibly fitter, more athletic Beer Kitty team.
Now we're already past 1 o'clock when game should have started, so hoping to see both teams just hustle up a bit more and get their lines on the field so we can get this game started. Seems as if everyone's still faffing around a bit, getting themselves prepared, getting their water bottles ready on the sideline. Dusty's joining the Beer Kitty cheer there. Don't know why. He also needs to put some pants on, Max.
We've spoken about this earlier, and I know it's been a point of development and contention in recent times in the Australian Ultimate community, and that's the uniform policy. There's been lots of talk about what that means in terms of the shirts that you have to wear, the requirements on, the logos that have to be on there, the Ultimate Australia logo, the numbers that are on the back, etc. Very little has been spoken about in terms of pants.
The pants, yes, exactly. The pants requirement hasn't exactly been spoken about. We saw Jonathan Potts earlier playing in a bright orange tutu. Again, maybe we need to have the uniform policy updated to include pants in that.
And Dusty opting for the bright red Speedos. But look, when you've got it, why not flaunt it?
Not gustily, just lightly from right of screen to left of screen. Might make it a little bit tougher for Sandstorm to try and get an upwind point early on. But they have very experienced throwers, so I have no doubt that it's something that they're capable of.
They do indeed. Expect to see Aldon with that red and white cap on penetrate with some excellent throwing abilities.
Aldon will certainly be an anchor position in the offense for this Sandstorm team. Overthrow straight up. Young manages to pluck it out to save that. There's a bit of cramping in the space, but she finds Salisbury to Don. Don puts it up. He's got Rigby underneath it and Mullenshot. And he just jumps too early and it gets brought down by Gwinnett. Finds Gwinnett again. Wolski with tons of space in the end zone.
Very scrappy so far, looking to slow it down and maybe clean things up a little now.
To Wolski on the far sideline. Oh, overthrows Halliday there. Dawn was on her heels.
And now Don will walk it back up. We've already seen some hasty shots and overthrows and skill errors. See whether they can tidy it up a touch.
Salisbury on the sideline to Young. They're really favouring that top sideline. Dumps to Don. Still didn't centre it very well though. And back down the sideline to Young again. They need to move it off that sideline if they want to open the field up a bit. Mullen shot down the line. Outstretched Salisbury. Cannot hang on to it though.
Great effort. And as you say, choosing to cram it down that cram hole rather than open up the space by coming back across the field. Almost successful for them that time.
Musial bringing in the disc for Beer Kitty. Finds Wolski down that same sideline. But she centres it back and then it just pops up. But the wind just pushes it down so quickly.
Drops like a lead balloon. Not giving the receiver much of a chance despite the separation that he generated. It was a nice cut, timed well, but the wind getting the better of that throw.
Aldon picking up the disc, hearing from the sideline of Big here that they're wanting a straight up force on Don, probably trying to make him hit that sideline again, and then Salisbury overthrows Young. Wolski picks it up and moves it quickly, but there is an injury call, I think, with Young.
She doesn't look happy.
She hit the deck quite hard on that bid there to try and save the disc.
May have just jarred something, bit of whiplash as she landed. Clutching at her neck, which is never a good sign. We hope she's okay, but she'll be replaced.
I think she just said that she's just a little bit winded. Getting some assistance there from Kelly Brown. Wolski with the disc. Kristen not replacing Molly Young on the field there. With Musial, nice break backhand, hits the centre of the field, opens it up for them, puts the flick out to Wolski, but it goes straight through the fingertips. Salisbury now finds Don on the top sideline. To Rigby, to Don, to Mullen shot, to Don. He looks for the big, but wasn't quite on. To not, they're really using that sideline again. Rigby more towards the centre of the field, but not quite.
Nice high release backhand.
Salisbury manages to pluck that one down. Don with the disc now, finds Rigby again, goes straight through her hands and hits the knee.
I think that was the wind causing that one to bubble again. We've seen it affect a few throws now. That was a lovely passage of patient offense by Sandstorm up to that point. Really willing to dump and swing until they found options that they liked. And in general, playing some nice, but Beer Kitty race it back the other way and score the opening goal of this match.
Sandstorm very stagnant on their feet there once that turn occurred. There was a bit of a switch there in the defense between Don and Mullenshot. However, the communication just wasn't there. Beer Kitty realised that and just ran on through and scored the goal.
You can see by the pace that they walk back to the line that everyone's pretty tired at this point. 2 full days of running on sand as well as a big party last night means that there's not a lot of juice left in the legs for a lot of these players.
I can imagine that, Max. The sand takes it out of your legs very quickly. At this point in the tournament, everyone will be feeling very sore, very fatigued.
Indeed. Oh. As Sandstorm prepare to play offense. Some red hot offense. Fielded by John Damiani, and they'll get things moving.
Davis with the disc right now. Finds Salisbury. Briggs nearly with the defense. She puts it out to Armstrong. She's got her players streaming past her. Salisbury comes back for a dump. Finds Brown on the break swing. He's got the field in the open space. Needs a cut though. Needs a cut. Armstrong, not quite. Damiani couldn't save that. Crocker picks it up and moves it straight away. Very nice grab there from Molnar. He needs a dump. Dumps it down the line to Crocker. He bobbles it, can't save it. Oh, and then it is saved by Blychars.
Taps it forward for her, macks it on, but won't be rewarded. Interestingly enough, that's allowed to happen. You are intentionally allowed to knock it forward to another one of your players. You just can't tap it forward to yourself.
Joe Salisbury there with the D. Nearly tapped it into the hands of Big Kitty's Alicia Ralph there, which would have been, you know, a bit of an accidental score.
Damiani, one of the most experienced players out there for this experienced Sandstorm team. He's been around a long while.
Armstrong there just slightly overthrew Joe Salisbury. She went for the bid but couldn't quite bring it in. Crocker picks it up to Molnar. Back to Crocker. They haven't really got much happening downfield. Molnar goes deep. He finds Briggs on the dump to Molnar. Crocker on the down the line, then back around. And he finds Molnar on the break backhand, puts it in, but sweeps up. And Briggs with the layout score.
Comes from behind, sees it sitting up and peels off the back of the stack to clean up the scraps. That's great heads up play by her.
Great vision there from Briggs. Saw that the down the line backhand just scooped up with the wind. Blychars wasn't going to quite get there, and Ralph was covered by Armstrong, so she went in for it and it paid off for them.
And we saw the big work rate from Molnar and Crocker at that point, recognising that their matchups had them for experience, which is a nice way of saying they were a bunch older, so they had the legs, and they just ground them into the sand, constantly getting unders all the way up the field until they eventually found Briggs in the end zone.
Sandstorm wanting to try and get some chalk on the board. They're currently down 2-0. Big Kitty have one break up on them. They started on offense, so Sandstorm really needing to convert from this offense.
As the pull comes up, it's a big arcing outside in backhand, and it lands just inside the tape at the back of the end zone. That's a nice pull. Aldon will walk it to the front edge of the end zone as Sandstorm set up in a horizontal stack, looking to space the field and use its full width.
That pull gave the Beer Kitty defense plenty of time to set up, clamp down, as Dom puts the inside backhand to Young, but she can't bring it in. Wolski with the disc. She puts it around.
Halliday lays out, holds on. Is that a goal?
That's a goal.
That may be one of the most impressive layouts I've seen all weekend. But Davis wants to have a chat about whether she managed to keep her toes inside the tape.
That was an amazing athletic play. She had vision. She went for it.
Great left-handed grab. The throw a little far at first glance, I thought. But Halliday shows her agility and athleticism in getting there. There's a reason she usually plays in the Opens division back over the ditch in New Zealand, because she can match it for athleticism with anyone out there. They'll head upstairs, look for the camera replay, see if they can see what's happening.
With plays like that, why wouldn't you want her on your Opens team there, Maxie?
And that's a goal.
That's a goal.
They've had a look at the camera. Davis thinks it's a goal. It's a goal. Halliday's rewarded for one hell of a grab. She will not be denied.
Very happy with that outcome. I think both teams were just quietly impressed with the amount of athleticism shown on that.
And they're still reenacting and chatting about it.
Teo Brown just not quite convinced, even though everyone else is.
But the point will stand. Beer Kitty 3-0. They've jumped out to a quick lead on the back of some athletic play. Briggs cleaning up a goal that she had no right to be involved in, and then Halliday rescuing a pass that was drifting away in the wind.
Beer Kitty really commanding this game so far. There's been some a little bit of scrappy play from both teams, but Beer Kitty just being able to hold, able to convert those turns into actual goals. Sandstorm needing to hold on to this offense. They're starting to lose their touch in this game very early on.
And that pull will sit and land in.
Oh, not with the big centre to Moulin shot. He hasn't really got any options to go to. He needs something. And then the layout D there from Sarah Hennis.
Hennis, another New Zealander who's come over just for the weekend. Curly, their two international pickups doing well this game.
Mona with the disc in the centre now, about 10 metres out from the end zone. Blychars on the under. Mona makes the big down the line cut. And he just can't grab it in.
Almost felt like he didn't need to lay out for that one and could have just caught it. But did leave his feet and couldn't hold on in the end.
Go try and make that highlight reel, Maxie.
Priorities. It's all about your priorities this weekend.
Moulin shot bringing the disc in. Christopherson with a nice undercut. Hits Zoc. Doesn't hit Zoc, straight through the hands. She puts it up and Mona manages to bring it down.
Through the hands of Blychard, pack underneath it.
Not with the layout D there, manages to tip it enough to keep it out of the hands of Blychard. It then sails over the head of the stack to turn. Moulin shot picks up the disc quickly, but both teams aren't really set yet. There's no movement happening, not down the line. Zoc on the under, Christopherson streaming deep. The shot goes up, but it has so much pepper on it.
Couple too many wheat bix this morning, I think, for Zoc. Christopherson had steps, but didn't really have a bid on a throw that deep.
Throw just needs to have a little bit more float on it so the wind would just sail it through the air nicely. It just seemed to bullet through, and with the direction of the wind, it also just brought it to the ground very, very quickly. Nothing Christopherson could do there, and I think even with with Superman speed, there was little to nothing he could do to even pick that one up. Giving Beer Kitty the disc back now. Crocker with the disc, finds Molnar. He finds Blychard on the under, very, very close, cut in the sand. Armstrong picks it up.
Oh, the high release forehand.
High release crossfield flick to Moulin shot for the score. That's what Sandstorm needed to get themselves on the board.
That's a master's throw for you. Very tricky throw. Digs into the bag of tricks for that one. Comes out with an assist.
You can tell that the experience in that throw there from Will Christopherson really shows. That throw was lovely. It was controlled. It was into the space for his receiver to run onto. He knew exactly what he was doing with that throw. Very long point there for both teams. I think whole line's taking subs. No one wanting to stay on again for an extra run around. The tournament really starting to take its toll on everyone. The fatigue setting in. No one wanting to be on that field for longer than they have to there, Max.
No, you can't blame them. They're all working hard when they're out there, but sprinting on sand does take its toll. And that's a brick of a pool. Beer Kitty opting for the side stack. Isolating Wolski on this near side. She comes under and across.
There's a little bit of a zone here from Sandstorm, trying a different look. A little bit of a scoop goes up to Mizail. He's assessing his options. Hand block from Damiani. Reads it like a book, sticks the hand out, turfs it.
Damiani's wingspan, probably the length of one of Muzel's arms. Nonetheless, able to get the block. And almost immediately a hand block in response. Just gets a fingertip on it, but it forces Don's pass out the side.
Sandstorm opting to stay with this little bit of a zone that they're showing here. It seems as if it is working. It does look like it's changing the options. Big one goes up to Ralph in the end zone. Brown right on her heels, can't bring it in. He brings it up to the end zone line quickly to try and get the disc moving and finds Young in acres of space on the far sideline to Don. Davis streaming deep. Don respects that, puts it up. It's got a bit of float. She had position, brings it down. She needs to wait for some reinforcements, finds Brown. Although there is a contention on whether that disc was up or not. There was some sand being flicked up on the grab, but I think it's a retracted down and the disc will stay with Brown.
It was low, but it looked good to me. Davis doing a great job to take that grab under plenty of pressure.
Brown with no mark is now set. Damiani on this close sideline. Sandstorm need to clear that space a bit, give themselves some more options. Floats it out to Brown. He's got it on the far sideline, scores to Young.
Lovely play from Sandstorm and a lovely crossfield backhand from Damiani, leading Brown into space, throwing to his advantage, setting up a very easy flip to Young for the goal. And credit to Tam Davis for taking that high one under pressure. It hung for plenty of time. She had a defender on her shoulder, but as the physics professor that she is, she read it, understood the angles and the dangles, and came down with the disc. Ultimate Frisbee, as a community, often known as being a bit of a community of nerds, and Davis does nothing to change that as a physics professor. She's actually one of Australia's leading astrophysicists. It's actually incredibly cool. So shout out to her. If you want to know anything about anything physics related, she's the one to speak to. I am most certainly not.
Sandstorm with a couple of rightly qualified people on their team. Eldon also being a doctor, a GP. Big pull from Don, lands right in the back of the end zone. Beer Kitty going to have to work hard to bring that one down. Crocker with the disc. Not finding much. Molnar.
Sandstorm with the zone this point.
This zone seems to be working for them. It's really changing up the options that Beer Kitty's taking. Big floaty disc goes up.
Chucks underneath it. Musial just too tall for Zoc. Zoc was on his hip the whole way, but you can't teach tall.
Hotly contested that one, Chuck did. Mizail, as you said, just too tall, but they were both right in that contention there.
And that was very much a throw from Crocker that wasn't based on any separation or openness from his intended receiver. It was simply a case of trusting the matchup, knowing the abilities of his teammate Musial, and just throwing it out and letting him make the play.
That zone there from Sandstorm has really seemed to change up the defence, and it means that Beer Kitty's options on the field in that point were really limited. They had to throw an outside-in flick that went out of bounds and then came back into Crocker on the sideline. The options that Beer Kitty had available just weren't the same that they'd had in previous points when Sandstorm were playing man. Rolly pool fielded by Damiani to not. Looks off Davis down the line and dumps back to Damiani. Davis working hard, gets rewarded.
Oh, huge layout block.
Durfee with the huge layout block there on James Mullenshot. Gwinnett with the disc, pops it up, but Durfee trips over the tape.
Loses his footing.
Can't quite reach that disc there.
Interesting choice. Halliday was totally open in the dump space, completely poached, and they opted for the downfield shot.
I think Durfee's going to take an injury here. That trip just may have taken the wind out of him, Max.
Not sure if he's hurt his body or his ego, but either way, he'll come off. Musial takes the field. And Damiani with the disc in hand.
To Davis, and she just fumbles it a bit. Mazzile picks up the disc, wants to put the inside flick. Oh!
Too far for Halliday, despite the bid. She gets up and gives the thumbs up to Musial, saying, do it again. I reckon I can lay out further. I wouldn't be surprised to see it either.
She wants those ones. Not with the disc. Doesn't really have many options. Stall count's getting high. There is a pick in the middle of the field. Disc is back with Knott. To outstretch Davis, but she just can't reach it. Gwinnett picks it up quickly, moves it to Mazzile. Hammer! Oh. And again, just can't close the deal with Halliday there.
This time, instead of a thumbs up, mimics a pancake catch, maybe saying to Musial, it'd be a whole lot easier if you just threw it onto my chest rather than making me leave my feet every time.
Damiani bringing the disc down to the front of the end zone. What a wonderful pair of shorts he's wearing. Rigby on the break flick side. Whoa! Run through D there from Gwinnett. Just gets a hand to it. And Mazzile takes the advice from Halliday. Puts a nice pancake out there to hand us to the score.
It's a lovely shot from Mazzile, adjusting his throw, putting a bit more touch on it with the around backhand. You could almost see him with the cogs crunching over in the brain, saying to himself, I'll take just a fraction of a second longer with this throw, make sure I'm set, and can throw a nice, polite touch throw onto that side for his receiver. And he's rewarded with an assist. Beer Kitty take it to 5-2.
That around pivot for Mazzile as well. Big, tall boy, not much you can do to stop that one. The width of the pivot on him just means that around backhand is made so much easier.
And despite the low score so far, only 15 minutes remain in this game as that pool sails out of bounds.
It has been a very hotly contested game, Max. We've had some very long points out here. Both teams getting very, very tired out there in the field. You can certainly see it as the points drag on and on and on. The efficiency seems to drop. Eldon to Young. She looks to dump it, dumps it down the line to Don. Puts it up, has Salisbury in acres of space.
Not sure what happened to Crocker, but he lost his assignment. Turned around and saw him 15 metres deep catching a goal. So Sandstorm, that may have been the first turnover-free point we've seen all game. They're ruthless when the opportunities open up, and they've got the throwing skills to find those open players wherever they are on the field.
Only a 2 points in it now between both teams. Sandstorm will definitely need to get a couple of Ds and convert from that. They've struggled to do that thus far. Their offense hasn't been as clinical. Beer Kitty have played definitely much better offense than Sandstorm have thus far this game. They'll probably be wanting to extend that lead just to be able to safely secure the win. Distal in the end zone. Dumps to Molnar. Swings it back to the other side. Looks off Mazzal in the middle of the field. So he goes down the line to him instead. Very nice bid down the line there. Doesn't really have many options. He puts the hammer up to Molnar. Closely guarded by Christopherson. And he's assessing his options there. Dumps to Mazzile. He points where he wants it. I want to throw it here. And he does just that. And Molnar for the score.
It's that around backhand. We talked about it. They've got to shut that down. It's been very productive for Beer Kitty. Consistently finding that they're able to get cuts onto that break side of the field for Mazzile to throw to.
Exactly right there, Max. It's just the width of his pivot, even with a mark on, he just steps right around them, throws the disc out into the break side space for the receiver to run onto. And as a defender, that is something that is really frustrating, and it's something that you really need to work to shut down, because if you don't, then they'll just continue doing it and they'll continue scoring on you.
They had Teo Brown on him that point, trying to match the wingspan, but even he not able to prevent the Mazzile backhand. Mazzile playing a lot of points. He's still on the field. And he'll take the pulling duties.
Puts up a big floaty pull that floats, and he's caught by Damiani. Fumbled by Salisbury. Wolski was right there on her heels for the defense. Crocker picks it up to move it quickly. Has a little bit of a travel, it looks like. Durfee to Crocker to Mazzile. Oh, to Durfee. Easy done. Beer Kitty takes half now.
And that's another Mazzile backhand. That one off movement, so not quite the same kind of situation where he statically just breaks the mark. But a nice shot nonetheless. And a shot that Sandstorm do not have an answer for.
Looks like both teams are heading straight back to the line. And they have, appears that they have elected to not take any break time at half and just continue playing through this one. Not much time left in the game. We've got just under 10 minutes. Sandstorm probably wanting to continue playing as much game time as possible. Try and claw this one back for the W if they can.
Both teams very much wanting to finish on an odd placing, as it means you win your last game. Finish on a high. But obviously, the way these things work, only one team can do that.
There can only be one. Beer Kitty has been very dominant so far in the game. I think maybe the youth that they have on their team has just outshone the experience of the Sandstorm and the the fatigue has set in the Sandstorm team, and they just weren't able to bring their A game to the Sunday, to day 2.
And that pull rolls out the back again.
The quality of pulling has seemed to decrease as the day has gone on. Seems to be more and more bricks and pulls out the back. Wolski on the close sideline. Sandstorm playing that zone again. Sorry, that was Halliday, my apologies. Hennis on the far side. Centers the disc. Oh, overthrows the outstretched Gwinnett. Gives Sandstorm a gift. Sandstorm definitely needing to convert from this one. Eldon bringing in the disc. Finds a nice gain to Teo Brown in the centre of the field to MJ Rigby on the far sideline. Back to Brown. He looks for the around to Don but can't get it, so gives him a little dump. Armstrong. She's looking. There's not a lot of cuts happening. Finds Rigby to Don, who saves it with his legs. He went for the hammer, didn't do it. Found Young. She puts it up to no one. There were no cuts in the end zone. The disc went up and everyone just stood there and looked at it.
It may have been a case of it being an educative throw in that build it and they will come, throw it and they will run kind of situation, hoping that her teammates will learn over time that she just wants to throw it. But that's probably the nicest spin possible to put on what was a throw to nothing, really. And Sandstorm will put back on this zone.
Just overthrow there from Beer Kitty. Can't be brought in there. Eldon picks it up and just gives it straight back to them. Halliday fumbles it but manages to bring it in. Sandstorm still playing in this zone. Dumps to Gwinnett. Back to Halliday. To Ralph. She looks for the around. Finds Gwinnett on the around. Finds Hennis down that line. Oh, and Brown just manages to get a finger on that down the line to Ralph. MJ Rigby with a great grab there over to Armstrong. She's assessing her options and puts the floaty lofty backhand up to Don. Finds Teo Brown. Back to Don. Throws the hammer, has Armstrong in space.
Oh, that's a beautiful throw in blustery conditions, showing his class out on.
That wind very gusty at the moment, setting in this afternoon, is definitely going to be making the rest of the games a bit more difficult for every team out there. That was some nice, cool, calm and collected offense there from Sandstorm. They seem to find the space a bit more and have clean cuts coming into the spaces that they needed it. Previously, they are, as seen in earlier points and earlier in that same point, they didn't have the cuts come into the space that they needed it, or they had no cuts coming at all, which just makes it obviously very difficult to move the disc because the handlers then just have to keep dumping it amongst themselves, but they can't actually gain any ground downfield.
So it's a 2-point game. It's still very much alive, both teams. As Christopherson sends the pull down the other end.
Has a very nice float to it. It's fielded by Maziel. Molnar just manages to keep it alive. Sandstorm staying with this zone. It seems to be working for them. Finds Blychars to Durfee. Down to Wolski, to Blychars.
Oh, this is some great movement. Lovely high-tempo offense.
To Molnar. Fakes the hammer. Puts the break backhand to Durfee. He looks the end zone but doesn't throw it. Oh, puts a nice break underneath to Wolski. To Blychars. Dumps to Wolski. Scored a Mazzile. Clinical offense.
Hot knife through butter from Beer Kitty right there. That was really excellent, high tempo ultimate. No one really holding on to it for more than a couple of seconds. And a couple of lovely break backhands as well. And in the end, Beer Kitty are rewarded with an easy pass for the goal from Wolski to Musial.
Beer Kitty's first goal after half. They took half 7-3 and are currently sitting at 8-5. Sandstorm have brought that gap back slightly now to 3. Definitely needing to, bring the gear up a little bit. They can still be in this game, but they just have a little bit of work to do.
Don signals his team's readiness with a hand above the head. Musial will oblige with a pull.
Don to Moulin shot to Armstrong on the high sideline. Oh! Great layout D there from Durfee. Crocker puts it down the line to Mazzile. Straight through to Durfee. Double happiness for him. Beer Kitty making this look very easy right now.
That was a hell of a layout from Durfee. Out of nowhere. Even Zoc on the other team was shocked by it and applauded him for his efforts.
He seemed to come flying out of nowhere, tipped it enough, sent it to the turf, and then they converted very, very quickly from that one.
On this Sunday afternoon, it feels like there's two different levels of intensity on this field right now. Beer Kitty fighting hard for that 7th place title. Sandstorm perhaps taking it easy, thinking about where they're going for lunch after this or when their flights are for this evening's trip home. They're veterans. They're already planning their next move, perhaps.
Not much time left in this game at all. Hooter should be going any moment. Beer Kitty looking very comfortable in this game, and Sandstorm needing to pull out some miracles to be able to close this one.
Christopherson, Demiani will take on some of the handler duties, I imagine, this point for Sandstorm, with a strong cohort of female cutters out there as well, led by Davis, the multi-time Australian representative. Pass a little wayward to get things going, but recovered well.
MJ Rigby with the save there. And Damiani puts it up to Salisbury. She gets it right on the end zone line. Puts the disc up. And Davis! Davis with the layout score. Sandstorm didn't make that one overly easy for themselves, but they managed to hold on to it.
Davis's initial pass, a little wayward, had to be saved by a bid, but in the end rewarded for continuing to work hard, hustle down the other end and provide a relatively easy flip for the goal. It's a lovely shot from Damiani down that far line. A shot that we've seen many a thrower this weekend struggle to give sufficient touch. He shows them how it's done.
That's exactly right. Damiani put a beautiful amount of touch on that throw. It sailed nicely into the hands of Salisbury, gave her plenty of space and time to run onto it. You can tell that he's been throwing those for a while, Max.
Indeed. Definitely an elite level thrower, that guy. He's done it all. Worn green and gold more times than I care to count.
We just heard the hooter go. So as this point has already started, we will wait and see who finishes this one. Add one to the highest score and then play to that.
So it's a game to 10 if Sandstorm can get another break, or it's a game to 11 if Beer Kitty hold their offensive point.
Messiah with the disc now. Sandstorm still playing that zone. It seems to be effective at taking away the options.
Halliday's second effort. Can't
Salisbury
get there.
tips it enough to keep it out of the hands of Halliday. To Armstrong. Dumps back to Salisbury. Oh, Wolski just plucks it out in front from Young.
You can see why Wolski was the Beach Nationals MVP last year, though she's looked off there.
To Ralph, puts it up to Gwinnett. He manages to bring it down. Beer Kitty hold. It's going to be a game to 11. Sandstorm just looking a little bit flat on their feet during that point. They had some cuts coming, but the downfield options just seemed to be very stagnant. And Beer Kitty just completely took advantage of that as the disc went up to Young. Wolski ran down in front of her and just plucked it right out.
Yeah, Wolski and Gwinnett doing a lot of work running the field at that point. They're the two captains of this team, and you can see why, leading by example till the very end. Even here on a Sunday afternoon. As the sun is out, it's now perfect conditions for a little dip in the water afterwards. I imagine some of these players will take advantage of that. I know I certainly will after this game. But you absolutely shouldn't move a muscle. Following this game, we'll have the semi-final of Australian Beach Ultimate Championships. It'll be between Turtle Club and House Party, the defending champions. So should be a rip snorter of a game. As Christopherson moves it to Don, has Tavis going deep. He shoots.
He shoots. He gets it to her. Even with two defenders, Davis isn't phased. Damiani with the disc now. Not many options coming down. Back to Davis, and she scores.
That's a lovely goal.
Sandstorm keep their Beach Nationals campaign alive with another score. And Beer Kitty coming out on offense in this next point, looking to try and close out the game.
They delay their post-game swim, even if it's only for a couple more minutes. Davis on the receiving end of two nice passes at that point, doing plenty of work.
Davis did a great job on that little huck there from Don. Even with two defenders chasing her down, she managed to maintain position in front so she could run onto the disc and out-position them to keep their bodies out of the contest.
Teo Brown set to pull. Teo Brown, a very experienced player, having played for a number of years in Melbourne. Now a local up here in sunny Queensland. Flat backhand for the pull. And out the back.
Puts the brick out. Crocker's going to be bringing it in from the brick mark.
And this is commitment to the zone look from Sandstorm. It's brought them a little bit more success in the back half of this game. It's been able to disrupt the Beer Kitty game.
Looking, Crocker gets it down the line, gets almost a little bit stuck on this sideline, but manages to get it off and overshoots Wolski. Sandstorm get another option to try and score. Don with the disc now, finds Brown. No options downfield though. Rigby manages to pull it in to Armstrong. She's knocking on the end zone door. Dumps to Don. There was a pick call, it appears.
Don seems surprised. I imagine he wouldn't be if he saw the replay. There was, to my eyes at least, pretty clear obstruction. We had players going left, right and centre as Don put on the spin move to try and shake Crocker.
Disc is back with Q Armstrong. Players just slightly resetting their position to where the pick occurred. A little bit of discussion, but everyone seems
Sandstorm has pulled it back to 10-9, game to 11.
Max, we did speak about Sandstorm getting on the late comeback train, and it appears that they have they've well and truly done that. They've brought it back to within 10-9. If they can bring it to Universe Point and then take out the game, I'm going to be so impressed.
You can see that something or someone has lit a fire underneath them. They're running with purpose now. Zox put some pants on. It's all happening.
There's been a rocket put in some pockets here in the Sandstorm team line, and they seem to be hungry for this win. Earlier on in the game, I don't think I could have said the same, but they're really bringing it to Beer Kitty now.
They are.
Disc is up. Maziel to field the pull. To Hennis. Sandstorm opting to play man again. Wolski.
You can feel the intensity lift from both the sideline and the players on the field.
To Durfee on the close sideline. Oh, hand blocked.
Clutch. This is prime position for Sandstorm to convert and take it to Universe. Don will be the one to pick up. Very confident throw. He's got a play going open side break to Davis.
Sam Davis.
That's 10-all. It's Universe Point, ladies and gentlemen.
Out of two outstretched Beer Kitty players trying to bid onto that one. This is incredible, Max. I absolutely would not have thought that this was going to be the last point.
5-10 minutes ago, I would have said Beer Kitty are going to take this away with ease. Sandstorm were heads down. They were trotting around. They weren't really interested. And then all of a sudden, it is 10-all Universe Point. You can see a bit of discussion about who's going to be the one to play this Universe Point line for Sandstorm. Don will stay on the field, recognizing that they need that throwing ability heading back upwind.
Sandstorm are obviously coming out on defense now, so they're definitely going. They definitely are going to need to get a D here to be able to win this game. Beer Kitty wanting smart offense, don't want any turns. Try and just get the score, get it done quickly.
And what a line Beer Kitty have put on there. In Crocker and Musial, two of their most versatile players. Wolski, of course, been unguardable all game long, generating downfield.
Strip call there from Molly Young onto Shayna Wolski. Sent it to Crocker. He's looking long, but opts to not throw it and dumps to Durfee. Fakes the hammer, dumps back to Crocker. Oh! Salisbury tries.
Layout for Wolski! That's the game! Beer Kitty have taken it away! They've shut the door! Sandstorm got a sniff, but they will be denied in the end. Beer Kitty victorious 11-10.
Perfect way to end the game. That was a great layout there from Wolski, showing her athletic ability and why she's definitely someone to be reckoned with on the field.
Shayna Wolski doing so much for her team all weekend long and right there delivering when they need it most. And that was one hell of a way to finish and claim 7th. I'm excited, as you should be too, because next up we've got our semi-final between Turtle Club and House Party. Certainly it'll be another one that goes down to the wire, so settle in for an afternoon of high-quality beach ultimate. I've been Max Stenstrom. I've been joined in the box by Oakley Ronan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Alti.tv